All right, good morning. Jim is on his way, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Matt Pitts, filling in for Brett Caldwell. Hope you guys are doing great in Rockwall. We have some stats to go over, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently this morning. And usually on this call, Brett goes through a lot of the weekly data within the stats site. So we go through the weekly numbers, active contingent. You all can find that at the newrealestatestats.com. But I wanted to make sure that you all had an idea of some of the features within the stats site that is accessible to you as we continue to build it out and make the value prop stronger and stronger. So the first one of those is actually if you come on the side and you click Texas in the widgets, there is a price reductions tab right under the weekly stats tab. And what it has is a county breakdown of all the counties in the Texas area, in your area in Rockwall. And it will basically show quick stats. So let's just do Dallas for fun. And let's do Rockwall for fun. And basically, it breaks down a few different, I call them graphics. It gives you the cost of mispricing. And I think this is one of the most important conversations right now is pricing listings the right way. And what the graphic does, and I'm going to show you some cool things here in a second as Jim comes in here. Hey, Jim, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So we're going through the stats site. Usually, Jim, we just knock out the weekly stats, but I have control of Mr. Caldwell's Zoom account. He's not here, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So we're on the realestatestats.com again. If you go to Texas and you go to weekly stats, that's what we normally do. If you go to price reductions, that's where we're at now. And what it basically will do for you is give you a lot of different options. And I'm going to show you what is coming to Texas. So if I go over here and just give you an idea, I'm gonna go in this one of what's going on. Just ignore the names, but I think this is great stuff that's coming under price reductions. So basically, what happens is you can come through here and look at all the price reduction info you could ever want in the cost of mispricing. And in June 2026, in this area, sellers achieved a median price of 97.3 and sellers who reduced their price only got 89.8. So this is the big cost of mispricing, and it's a great chart to be able to show off. So the two paths, view three it'll have for you is the two paths of getting homes sold, Jim. Of this county, 21,115 homes closed. This will be out by the end of week for Texas. Of that, no price reductions, 13,000 closed, 65% at 100% of list price. Of those 21,000 closings in quarter two, 7,000 had a price reduction first at 35%, and they were at 93% of original list price. So, Jim, I think that's about a 6-7% difference in if I had a price reduction or not. View four shows us, Jim, of what happens to every 100 listings in this county. Uh, of 100, 63 out of 100 listings that started above market would pay. 42 never sold. 21 had a price cut. And 37 sold with no reduction. So that's a visual of what happens for every 100. Then if you keep going, of every 100, it's a different way to see it. But the one I want to really show you is this one, which is view six that you can do on the spot, the cost of testing the market. So Jim, give me a list price of a home you've gone out and listed recently.
400,000.
All right. And what did that seller want to list their home for? Just give me an idea of what that
Oh,
conversation.
425.
425. So let's say they want to list at 425 and you say the market is telling us 400,000, right? At 425, let's just say that they've got a $3,300 mortgage. They're paying 600 a month, and I'm just making stuff up, taxes and insurance. They've got 550 in utilities a month, and they've got a $275 HOA. And what this basically does is it shows you, Jim, if you test the market, here is what we believe what will happen, which is 425. The stats show us that I just showed you 93.6 is what it usually costs to reduce and get a home sold of total list price, which is a total of 397,885. And more importantly, that takes 63 days on average in your county. And if we price it right the first time at 400,000, we get 100% usually of price and we sell in 10 days. So the sales difference is only 2115, right? But the carrying cost is another $8,200.
There we go.
And when you add it all up by pricing right, not having people stomp through your house all day, Jim, and we get this thing sold at above our list price, our likely total benefit is actually $10,353. And a lot of people do this on paper, Jim. A lot of people do this in different charts, but this is our new way of giving you an opportunity to be able to do this in front of a client with visuals. What do you think?
Yeah, the visuals is the biggest part because I can say numbers all day. Heck, we've done numbers on this call, and I've had people come back to me and go, "All right, I didn't quite understand what you're talking about." When you got a visual that tells the story, it makes it 10 times more powerful. It puts it right in their face and lets them kind of walk through. Because I'll even say, if you listed at 425 versus the 400, I think that 1.7 months is a misnomer. It'd be great if you can say, like, kind of alter that days on the market, because I think you end up spending at least twice as long, because it takes you usually that much longer to get it back down to that 400, because their price reduction may be 415. You're
Yeah.
still 3% above the market. And then if you end up chasing the market down, right? Because your $400,000 house, all of a sudden there's been a shift in the market, because that's a real thing right now. You end up in some different galaxy, and now that 2 months has turned into 6 months, and what's 25,000 is what you've come out of pocket, or your carrying costs to try to get an extra 25,000. So you just cost yourself so much more money that you're not going to recoup, and you're chasing the market down.
Spot on, Jim. And Jim and I will go through this together for Rockwell and other specific areas next Tuesday at Market Mastery, Jim, with your specific county data. But I think it's that important, which is all this conversation leads up to is basically, hey, Jim, I know we've talked about price, and let me talk about the two paths to getting your home sold in Rockwall and what that looks like after quarter two. Would that be okay? And we're going to be able to visually show them the exact numbers of sold price reductions and list price to sales price. We're going to show them different visuals to be able to do that with real data, real-time data that we can work in front of them. We're going to show you the options, which I know you've done 100 times, 100,000 times over your careers, of what it looks like if you do or you don't in a different type. That's three different graphics if you're keeping track so far, Jim. Then we can talk about specific price points of actual list price, but we're going to give them an average, but this is specific to you. And then we're going to literally cost of testing the market calculate right in front of you. And with that conversation, Jim, our hope is you have another tool in your tool belt to be able to get the price you need to get. Does that make sense?
Man, that's perfect. I'll tell everybody that's listening to this, and you tell everybody else, the whole point of all these numbers, we miss this sometimes, Matt, is, man, it's great knowledge for ourselves, but it's a story to tell to the seller. So if you try to tell a seller, buyer, whoever it may be, exactly what we're trying to say here, man, realtors are so guilty. I'm guilty of speaking realtor talk to people that I know, and we have our own language. We do. We have our own language a lot of times. And so you've got to tell a relatable story. And so when you can make it a peer, they don't need to know the peer, but when you can make it a story they can relate to a peer, it makes it that much stronger. And so these numbers are a story to tell.
Spot on. And data doesn't have the emotion as well. And being able to show
Yeah.
them real data takes a lot of the emotion out of this. And our goal is to never have you out-tooled at a listing presentation where you can't show this in every way possible. The second little tool I wanted to show you to make sure you were aware of is if you're in the realestatestats.com and you click on your profile, there's actually, Jim, tell me, you may or may not have known this, there's actually buyer and seller home guides that are updated every quarter. And you can go in and put the colors and the branding colors you like, the scheme, but they have them in Spanish and English now that you can both
Awesome.
highlight. So, for example, if I just have it generate a seller home guide, it pops up. And Jim, you're going to tell me if that switched over.
Yep.
It did.
Switching. There it is. Yeah.
Yep. So it switches over, and Jim's going to read all this to us. But it's a great starting point. We're not saying to use it all, but a lot of people are, hey, what do I leave at a listing presentation? What do I leave at an open house? How do I enhance my value prop? This is an incredible way to communicate your value prop with real quarterly data that is included in the said presentation. So I wasn't sure if everyone was aware that we had those in English and Spanish. Jim, what do you think?
All I see here is a great lead capture point,
Mm.
right? If you took this PDF, put it into whatever AI you're using, and go utilize something like Midjourney, something that's going to put out a little video for yourself. So if you downloaded this or uploaded this into your AI, asked it to give you a 5-second video prompt, and you put that video prompt into something like Midjourney, well, now you've got this video that's going to play out on something like Instagram, which is going to get you more views and more push, and then come up with the hook, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that somebody needs to go and download this? And now you've got this huge lead generation moment.
Spot
Great
on.
tool.
I didn't even think about how you could lead capture on Instagram or Facebook with these buyer and seller guides. Really good point, Jim. Love that. Love it, love it. Last thing, I kind of ran you through the price reduction opportunity. If you go down to the bottom of any of these when you do, and you do the price reduction, they have them in formats that you can actually put on your presentation and or Instagram and or LinkedIn and or any other social site, automatically updates to the right size. So it's just an export tag. All right, Jim, was that okay versus go through the numbers this week? Because the numbers are up there if you want to.
And I thought that was a great segue. It's a great tool to use. Matt, I want to tell you, anybody that's been on this call, the numbers are what they are. They have not changed since last week. All that needs to change is how we react in the story that we're telling to people.
Yep. Yep. All right, we're going to jump into some headline articles, just a couple here today, and we'll get you going into your week. All right, the DFW housing affordability slips even as builders report strength. So this article basically says a few things. Can be two true things at once. Builder confidence is going up a little bit, but affordability continues to be eroding for buyers. Prices and rents are outpacing wages in the DFW area, and agents need to hold both realities in the same conversation. And that's what this article basically goes through. Jim, I know I sent it your way. Did you get any other takeaways from the DFW housing affordability slips?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just the conversation that we have out of it, right? Um, Being able to guide the buyer, guide the seller, because I think everybody's feeling the pinch right now, right, Matt?
Yep. Yep.
Uh, it's an absolute. Yeah, I started my morning out exploring things that I never thought I'd explore, like the term of the Strait of what is it?
Yep.
See,
Hormuz.
yeah, Hormuz. Things I never really thought I'd like really pay attention to in life. I'm paying attention to, and then I started going down this rabbit hole of like, man, this just ticks me off because I have to like I'm trying to figure this out, and like, yeah, this is what my mornings start out with. But everybody's trying to figure out, well, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for uh, everything that I'm doing? And so it there's so much caution and a little bit of panic, and you're starting to see it with the buyers. Like the buyers know that it's a tough economy right now, and we're starting to see it with offers that are being sent out there. I don't know. Are you seeing that out there in Georgia?
I think we have very similar markets. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just all these things that lead down to the single conversation of what to have, what to expect. Because man, it is jarring when you get an offer that is 10% lower than your list price a week or two after you list it, right? You're like, what are we doing? But that is the mentality of everything that we're walking into. And it doesn't mean that you have to accept it. It just means that you have to explain it. So then when it happens, man, you look like a hero
Yeah. And
and
that's
you know
what
how
those
to navigate it.
100%. That's a lot of what the tools we shared. And that actually leads me into a conversation that I thought this article was always helpful. But here's the thing, Jim. 30-year mortgage rates up 6.9, highest level since 2020, highest level of 2026 today. Rates are now higher than they were this time last year. Would you say there's some escalation in the news and the conflict? The 10-year treasury went to 4.71. Markets were pricing in a 36% chance of a rate increase now. Here's the thing. I can throw all these news articles at you 24/7. That's what your consumer is seeing. But the main thing I want you to hear is real estate always has a new crisis. And the crises will never stop coming. I mean, we had this whole crisis of buyer brokerage last year, right? We all thought it was over. We've had a COVID market. We've had a non-COVID market. I'm pretty sure there's a recession in like 2008, 9, 10. There's always something, is the point. And what this article goes in to say is you're never going to feel completely confident, and confidence is not always translated to certainty. So, do you come on this call to get more confidence in the numbers and what we're doing and hearing the stories? Absolutely. But the agent who walks in and feels like they have to have all the answers or makes up the answers is honestly mostly the most anxious agent in the room. And what I find is top performers know a few things. They know what they don't know, and they know the difference between the two. And the article goes into really how we as fiduciaries bear the responsibility of staying consistent and educated, but also have to understand that there's always going to be a crisis. Jim, would you say there's always going to be a crisis in this industry, and how would you help agents do that?
Yeah, I stopped telling, and I stop myself and correct myself a lot, Matt, whenever I tell somebody, man, it's a really difficult market. I stop and go, man, it's always a difficult market. There's just something more difficult about it because it's just various levels. I mean, it was a difficult market in 21. We had to submit, it felt like 15, 20 offers just to get something accepted. There was a challenge to that. It was difficult. But I like what you said there a second ago about confidence. And I think I want to kind of pick your brain there because I think you are a really you're kind of masterful with how you kind of guide people through this. We have to generate confidence, right? I don't think confidence is something that you just walk into the building each day and go, man, I am a confident son of a gun. Because all of a sudden, it's like it's built on the worst foundation most of the time. It just crumbles as soon as you're faced with making that next call. Let's just put that out there. Or, man, I've got to make 25 calls. Confidence crumbles. How do you generate your confidence and then regenerate, keep it up? What do you do?
So I think defining what confidence actually is really important. And to me, confidence is really trust in yourself that you can handle what happens, even if you don't know exactly how it will turn out. And I don't believe you wait on that confidence. I believe you generate it through what's called, it's really interesting, action.
Yeah.
And confidence, here's at its minimal form that I've heard a long time ago, and I've taken it as life advice, and I'm not perfect at any of this. But I did hear it a
Yeah.
long time ago, which is the greatest way to gain confidence is just keeping promises to yourself. And
Mm.
so what does that mean? confident people are people who say, I'm going to do something no matter how small, and nobody knows, and they do it. And internally, you're actually rewiring your brain to be confident that you're going to do and can accomplish what you say you're going to do. I think a lot of people think confidence is, I know it all, I can figure it out, and we'll get it. But I think confidence is really small, of like, I said I was going to go not eat a chocolate milkshake for lunch. And Jim, I didn't eat a chocolate milkshake for lunch. Like as simple as it is, I think that's confidence. Does that help? That was off the cuff, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I like that. I like that I can put you on the spot like that. Um, no, I think a lot of times we wait for it to show up, right? And it's not really how it works. If you constantly wait for confidence to show up, you're just going to be constantly waiting, because you said it of it requires an action that we have to get out there and actually do something. And that's where people can look around like, man, I don't know how that guy is so confident.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's very, you'll probably, I know you'll agree with this. If you kind of peeled back me for a second, Matt, you would probably look at me and go, Jim, you were one of the most anxious people I know. And man, I feel like I'm going 100 miles an hour sometimes, and I'm just, oof. Um, it's that duck on the water. Everything's, I try to stay calm, and everything's kind of running heavy on the underside. But I like that it's that promise to yourself that you fulfill and keep fulfilling. And that's what builds that confidence, because then you can trust yourself.
Love that so much. Jim, you're one of the most authentic people I know in that. And here's the thing that you'll, I think, agree with too, is most people don't have it all figured out, and that's okay.
No, 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 no. You and I have had a lot of conversations of just, man, there are times that I go through different parts of life and I come out on the other side. And we were just talking about some stuff last week, Matt, of like, man, that it, I don't know where I really want to go with that, Matt, without just divulging too much. But, there's a lot of times we go through some different seasons and we try to get out of those seasons really fast. And then we miss the whole point of the season, right? There's this growth that you're supposed to experience, and you kind of miss that growth. And I think that's what markets like this do, is it puts you through a season, and there needs to be growth that comes through it. And we're constantly looking out going, man, I think this next 2027, it's going to be better. It's going to be better. And we're constantly looking at when we're going to get out of this market. And we miss the growth that's supposed to happen in this market. Because I'll tell people, man, when we came out of that 2008 to 2012 market, there was like business just took off. There was so much growth. And it's like, golly, like, how do I experience that? Man, you got to experience the growth and the tough times and learn from all that as you go through it.
Love that. Well said. So I'm gonna set the president for next week and the stats, and then we're gonna end with this story, Jim, and get people on with
Yeah.
their day. But next Tuesday, Jim, we have Market Mastery in Rockwall, and we're going deep into stats and numbers that you're going to want to see. We're going even deeper into some of these tools I want to show you guys that are on the stats site to help with pricing and marketing. So those are two promises that we will absolutely have a hands-on training around next Tuesday afternoon if you're not aware. And then I'll leave you with this, and then Jim, you can give final thoughts. We were having a conversation last week, and I just went through all the news headlines, and things are hard, and we can sit there and say things are hard. And a lot of people are expecting that all this will start picking up again. I know we say this every year, maybe second quarter next year, right? Like things should die down and rates should start making their way slowly down and the market should pick back up. And we've kind of been at the bottom for home sales for 2.5, 3 years at this point. But Jim and I's conversation around this, I was at a Cody Gibson event, and Cody Gibson was talking about that market and what's to come. And we're all excited to get a year and a half, 2 years down the road. And he said he got a call from Gary Keller on Friday, the Friday before, and Gary was talking about his wife, who I forgot her name on the spot. And his wife, if you didn't know, Gary Keller's wife has progressive Alzheimer's, like really rough time for them. And Gary's wife, the story he was telling was that she said, "Hey, I want to go on a drive around the neighborhood." And they went on a drive around the neighborhood and made it all the way back to their house. And Gary was like so excited. He told a few of the leadership team, including Cody Gibson that day. And the point of the story was this, is that we are in tougher times in real estate markets. And yes, people are having their best years and their worst years. And
Yeah.
we all look forward to when things will get better, right? Year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to be rocking again. And this is going to be that great industry we did. And to Jim's point, this is the part to grow. But to my point, I think as well is uh, in 2 or 3 years, if you have kids, your kids are going to be 2 or 3 years older. In 2 or 3 years, you're not. I mean, I don't know about you, Jim, but I feel like I get older and older, and things just aren't working like they used to, and I'm sore and all the things, right? Pulling muscles, all the things. Um, but the point I'm really trying to make is we always wish for the next best thing in this industry and life. And I think it's really important that we look at what we have now and we're very present when we have now. And if they're hard, they're hard. If they're not, they're not. But how are we showing up present in our lives and knowing that now's the best life ever? Right now is that moment. And in 2.5 years, maybe the market's better, maybe it's not. But why are you wasting away always looking 2.5 years? I'm pretty sure Gary Keller's not looking 2.5 years down the road when he's enjoying his time right now, and neither should us. So I just that was a spur of the moment thought off your story, Jim. But I wanted to close with that and invite people to next Tuesday where we're going to dive really deep into the data. Any closing thoughts?
Man, I think you said it perfectly. I'd just be reiterating everything you just said. That's perfect.
All right, guys, I can't wait to see y'all next Tuesday. Jim, we're going to have fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody at Stats and build today. That's right, Patty. Love it. Y'all have a great day. Thanks, Jim. Talk to you soon.